let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gators, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Vaughn Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel. And welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am Zanella Claxon from the Department of Education, and I am here with you to share, as I am almost every Saturday, and of course this Saturday is no different. This morning we are another week closer to the start of school, and so I know the excitement is rising that all of our students and teachers and parents are counting down the days, especially parents. I know it's been a while and you want your children to have those meaningful engagements with our teachers, and so we're almost there, and we will continue our conversation that we started last week in terms of how to prepare for school. Last week we focused on how to prepare for preschool, especially knowing that our students who were in daycare have never been, or some of them have not been, in a formal setting, especially if they were at home for the past year with a family member. Some of the structures might not have been in place. And so before I continue with that information and sharing with you, I will of course share with you once again in relation to the UK Chevening Scholarships 2022-2023. The Ministry of Human Resources wishes to inform of the United Kingdom's Chevening Scholarship Program. The Chevening Scholarship Program offers students the opportunity to pursue a fully funded master's course at a UK university and comes with the following added benefits. 1. Fully funded tuition to your chosen university. 2. Living expenses for the duration of your studies. 3. Flight to the UK. 4. Access to exclusive events across the UK and joining an international Chevening network. Interested persons can apply during the period August 3rd to November 2nd, 2021. And please visit the website www.chevening.org to apply and to access additional information. And if you need additional information, contact the wonderful persons there at the Ministry of Human Resources, Mrs. Shanola Murray-Gill, Miss Renice Williams, or Mrs. Shelley Liebert. And so, once again, we encourage us all to access as many of these opportunities as possible, and we know from time to time they are shared with you, and so we want you to stay alert to ensure that you have access to these pieces of information. So the Chevening Scholarship is a master's degree program, and it's fully funded. Go on onto the website and get the information so that you can determine if it is something that you are open to, or if it's something that you find appealing. We know that pursuing higher education can sometimes become a bit costly, and so we want to make sure that we get as many opportunities for financial assistance and support as possible. And so, as I said, I encourage all of you to, all persons who qualify or who are interested in pursuing a master's degree, to follow that. In order to follow all of the scholarship opportunities, you can also follow the NIA Scholarships Facebook page, and on that page usually we'll see posted the opportunities for financial assistance. All right. Okay, so we are, as I said, a few steps closer to back to school, and so this upcoming week we will have an opportunity to engage with our principals, and then of course the following week our teachers come out, and the week after that we get to see our students. And so we are just going to continue to take you through some things, parents, that you can do over the next 2 weeks to prepare your students for the return for back to school. Please note please note that as of now the intention is to continue back to school or school in person. However, we are always guided by the health professionals. The protocols will determine what the first days of school this term look like, and so please be reminded that we know that we are in a position where things can change and have changed very quickly, and so we want our parents to be prepared mentally for any potential outcome. Okay, so the first thing that and so last week we looked at the preschool. This week we'll look at primary, specifically kindergarten, and then of course some of the areas will cover both kindergarten and throughout the other grades. But first thing that you have to make sure, just like the preschool, is that your child is actually registered for school. Some persons may have missed the registration, and so I want to make sure that you are aware that you must ensure that your child is registered for school. If you have not registered your child for kindergarten anywhere across the island and you are on Nevis, please make sure that you do so this week. You can collect for the public schools, for access to the public schools. The application forms are available at the Department of Education, and so you can stop by the Department of Education there on Marion Heights, that's right above Hosford's, and you can collect a registration form. Okay, so register your child for school. That's the first step. And the second step, listen out for your school's scheduled visit. Okay, of course, ensuring that you get the best possible interactions. So we will be having some scheduled activities and some scheduled visits this summer. This one is very important. Purchase or secure resources such as your uniforms, your textbooks, and your other resources. I know that many of us in the community had, students who are already in the system, and you might have from your own children or cousins, you may have resources, you may have uniforms, but please ensure that your students have uniforms that, of course, they can wear for the first few days of school. Parents have asked whether or not school will reopen and whether or not they should acquire resources or to what extent, and so our response is that the intention is for school to reopen, and we do not know, of course, whether it will be in a physical space or a virtual space, but as of now we're proceeding as though it is a physical space unless we are told otherwise. Okay, so please ensure that you have at least the minimum number of resources for your students, for your child to be able to start school for this school year. Next item, sign up for the school meals program. As you look forward, and this goes to all parents in the primary school, as you look forward to the new school year and you plan out what your children are going to eat during lunchtime, please take into account the school meals program. Every public primary school has a school meals program. There is an application form, so please register for the school meals program, and we'll talk a bit more about why you should register for the school meals program and some of the benefits in a few minutes as we talk about preparing for the return to school. As you know, the new school year starts on September 6th, 2021, and we are on countdown. We'll be right back after this short break.
Sugar City St. Kitts, keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. hour passes quickly. You don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio. It's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. With storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. I am Zanella Claxton from the Department of Education, and on Saturdays we share information, activities, events, opportunities with you so that we can further develop our students, our young people here on Nevis. And so, as we prepare for the reopening of school, there are several tips that we want to share with parents, and some of you might have missed some of the tips last week, and so we're sharing with you this week. Last week we shared on preschool, preparing for preschool, and this week we're sharing on preparing for primary school. And so so far some of the tips that have been given are: register for school. In order to get into the school, in order to be taken into account, our students need to be registered. There are several documents which they need in order to be registered, and so you have to make sure that that process is completed as soon as possible. This would affect the child being able to access school on the first day if they're not registered, and so we want to encourage you, to encourage everyone out there to register for school. Number 2, we stated that you should listen out for your school's scheduled visit or information sharing session. And then, of course, 3, purchase or secure resources such as uniforms, textbooks, and other resources. And so each school circulated resource lists for each grade, and so we're encouraging you to purchase or secure resources. Sign up for the school meals program is the 4th tip that we shared this morning. The school meals program comes at a cost of $100 per month in the months where there are 4 Mondays, and $125 if there are 5 Mondays. So that is pretty standard, and of course over the course of this year we have shared with you several of the opportunities, the menus, the rationale behind the school meals program, and so we want to encourage parents to encourage your children to sign up. Now, sometimes it's difficult for parents to provide well-balanced meals because of all the time that it would take to procure all of the materials, and then of course in the morning to cook and get ready, but you want your children to have the best, and so we are advocating, we're encouraging all of you to sign up for the school meals program, because the meals are balanced every day, and the biggest complaint that you'll get from children is that they don't want to eat their vegetables, or they don't like vegetables, but I'm sure they say the same thing to you at home. Vegetables are very important as we look toward the future and this pandemic. We want to boost our children's immune systems, and without the proper nutrients and eating healthy, balanced meals, we will have compromised immune systems. And I know that there's no parent out there who doesn't want the best for their child, as I said, and so you want them to eat healthily, and some days it's just difficult for you to do so for various reasons. And on those days you end up giving a sandwich that's mostly carbs and maybe some protein, but they don't get the fruits and vegetables as they would need, and so we are encouraging you, as I said, to sign up for the school meals program. We'll continue to share exciting meals. We'll continue our tour next term, our tour Thursdays or water Wednesdays, and so building that excitement. And I encourage you to encourage your children to eat their vegetables, to eat the vegetables which are on their plates, because if they consistently say, oh, I don't want it, once again, they're contributing to compromising their immune systems. Okay, and then there's another program that we're encouraging you to think about, to consider, and to sign up for, and that is the school banking program. We know that school banking has been around since time immemorial, and we're encouraging all parents to sign their children up. Those going into kindergarten, sign them up for school banking as you prepare them and teach them about the importance of saving. And if you're able to keep up with the school banking throughout the duration of the child's primary school journey, by the time you get to grade 6, many parents have enough to cover their high school costs without having to dig too deeply into their pockets. And so we're encouraging you to sign up for school banking as well. So those are two activities, two programs that you would need to reach out to your school in relation to. Most schools will share the information with you, and so follow the instructions and go ahead and sign your children up for these wonderful activities. The next one is decrease or phase out naps, and this is specifically for our kindergarten students. We know that naps are an important part of our students' day, and so in preschool, in the early afternoon, they would take their naps, and then they would wake up in time to prepare for the end of day and for parents' return. In kindergarten, we do not have any cots, and so there is no nap time at kindergarten. And so if they have been sleeping during the summer, during the day, I know it helps some parents to keep that routine. And so if they're still sleeping during the day, during the course of the summer, that when we are encouraging you to phase out or decrease the nap time. So you start by decreasing, and then with the ultimate goal of eliminating altogether. We know at the kindergarten level that some of them will fall asleep during the afternoon session. They'll fall asleep during the day because their bodies are used to the nap time. But we are encouraging you to start talking to them about the fact that they won't have nap time, a scheduled nap time, and of course, as I said, trying to keep them alert and awake throughout the duration of the day, so that in the evenings when they get home, their bodies are ready to rest and they can get an early bedtime and start their day fresh the next day. If we allow them to continue to stay up late, like I said last week, if they stay up late in the evenings and then they have to go through an entire school day with no nap, it is not the best for our students, and we try our best to ensure that we're providing the best environments and opportunities for their growth and development. So decrease or phase out naps is a very important part of the preparation for primary school. Okay, so get on routine is another one, and routines are important. We talked about routines last week in terms of preschools. The same obtains for primary schools. So get on a routine. How should your day run? Having a structured day is a consideration. Having a structured day would not be the exact structured day as you would have in school, but as I said last week, you wake up in the morning by a certain time, not 9-10 o'clock. Children should not be getting up at 9 and 10 o'clock for the next few weeks. If you're doing a dry run, we want them to wake up earlier so that their bodies start getting ready for the reopening of schools, and we don't have sleepy, tired, lethargic children in the classrooms. Okay, so do a dry run, and your dry run of your schedule will change and you alter it, but you want to make sure you keep them occupied between 8 and 4 in some way, shape, or form. And that includes outdoor time, lunchtime, breakfast time, lunchtime, and of course dinner time. And then some physical activity, some academic activities should be embedded in there. Should not be all the tablet time, but some interactions, even outside, planting in the garden, doing something that is physical, and you can make connections as well. The next item is, the next tip is read about the first day of school. So there are many books out there that speak to the first day of school and speaks to some of the apprehensions that our students would have. And so we encourage you to find some of those books. You can visit the Nevis Public Library. You can go online. There are some books on there on PDF versions of those books. So read about the first day of school and have those conversations. Like I said last week, for the preschoolers, the same obtains. There will be some anxiety, some reservations. Children may have some questions, and to help them to transition, it's important for us to talk to them about what is expected for the first day of school, talk to them about what primary school would be like, talk to them about making good decisions and being good children and having having friends who make good decisions, and talk to them about their social interactions as well. Talking to them is going to provide them with that level of support that they need, but talking to them also allows you to hear some of their anxieties and some of their concerns. And as they get older and they're able to articulate better, because you will hear from your older students, you can segue into some interactions with our older students as well, our older primary schoolers. They will be able to tell you some of the reasons they want to go back, and they'll be able to tell you some of the reasons they don't want to go back. And it's important for you to listen to both. Some children might not want to go back because there's something there that is causing some level of anxiety. And so let's not brush it off. Have those conversations with them, and then of course follow up with your school's principal or teacher, highlighting the concern and what the child shared, of course, in confidence. So that together you can build an environment where the child is comfortable and can then be successful. So if, for example, the child does not want to go back because someone is being mean, might be a bullying situation, that's something that you need to talk about and draw to the teacher's attention and have those follow-up conversations. If the child doesn't want to go back because school is hard or difficult, that's something to zero in on. Are we having some learning challenges, or is it that the child doesn't want to exert the extra effort and energy? And once again, those are conversations to have with the teacher. If the child is struggling, it's going to be hard for that child to really be able to succeed. And psychologically, if that child starts shutting down, we would not be able to reach them. But together, as I said, we should have those discussions and figure out what's happening. What is causing my child to have this level of anxiety? And then work together. It's not about parents, reaching out in a way that is aggressive, but we know that it's a partnership, and so we can share our concerns and work together to get the job done, to ensure that his children are in a nurturing and fostering environment. And of course, as I said, your kindergartners, your pre-kindergartners, those are coming into kindergarten this summer, this September, will have the usual I'm scared to go to a new place anxiety. We will take a short break, and when we'll come back, we'll continue with getting ready for primary school.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know, we're gonna have a great time. And now we're message quickly. You don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio. It's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather round. An adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. I am Zanella Claxton from the Department of Education, and I'm here with you to share opportunities, events, activities, as we prepare for the reopening of schools and our students have to be re-engaged with their teachers. We want to make sure that we have certain things in place and that we're providing parents with some tools to be able to face the new school year with the same level of bravery that they did all the previous school years, of course, knowing that we have the COVID-19 pandemic out there, and we've seen a significant increase in the number of COVID-19 cases over the past few days, and so we are mindful of that, but we are sharing some tips for back to school with the understanding, I'm hoping that those who tuned in late, with the understanding that the Ministry of Education is guided by the health protocols, and so although we are preparing for an in-person interaction, we are also aware that we are law-abiding citizens. We try our best to follow the protocols and try to model the importance of following protocols to students, and so we want to encourage parents to start preparing, knowing that we will have those interactions. So the last tip that we gave was read about the first day of school, and there are several books that speak to the first day of school, some that speak specifically to this first day of kindergarten, and then some that are general. Some books are out there as audiobooks. Sometimes parents, you might say, I don't have the physical book and I might not have the time to get the book, but YouTube has some read alouds where persons are reading books about kindergarten, so you can listen together and you can talk about what the book says, or if you, as I said, have the opportunity to, you can find a PDF version of a book online, or you can make sure that you go to the nearest public library. The library is the first option. I would encourage that because interacting with the physical book is always best for our children. So there are some books, as I said, for example, Curious George Goes to School. That's one of the books available. We have First Day Jitters, that speaks to some of the anxiety that children may face. So we have Curious George Goes to School, and that is by M. Ray and H. A. Ray. Then we have First Day Jitters by J. Danberg. We have I Am Absolutely Too Little for School, and that one is by L. Child. Then we have I Love School by P. Sturgis and S. Halpern. We have Leo the Late Bloomer by R. Cross. We have Miss Bergerton Gets Ready for Kindergarten, and that's by J. Slate. And of course we have Will I Have a Friend by M. Cohen. And there are several other books out there which are available, and so we want to encourage you to do some research and find out what's there. If your child is going to grade 1, you can search getting ready for grade 1 or getting ready for first grade, getting ready for 6th grade, whatever grade they're going to, getting ready for kindergarten. This morning I have a very, very, very short story entitled Jimmy's First Day of School. So I spoke about the fact that we should read about the first day of school, so I am attempting to model it for you. Okay, Jimmy's first day of school. So Jimmy's mother thinks that Jimmy is ready to go to school, but Jimmy is afraid until he realizes that change can be a good thing. Okay, so this book will will address younger learners who are getting ready for kindergarten. Jimmy has just turned 5 and was starting school. He was frightened. He had never been to school before. Jimmy did not know what to expect, and he did not want to leave home by himself. Jimmy's mom told him not to be afraid as she walked him to his school bus stop. She told him that he would make new friends and have lots of fun. Jimmy was being brave as he got on the bus and sat down. He waved his mom as the bus drove away. All right, so of course, Jimmy was a bit apprehensive, he was a bit scared, and so he was able to leave for his first day of school with no major issues. Okay, and so I'm going to read it one more time, and then I'm going to ask one question, and I'm hoping that one of our younger students who are probably in somewhere between preschool and grade 3 could answer my very, very, very easy question about Jimmy's first day of school. And this book is by T. Albert. Jimmy had just turned 5 and was starting school. He was frightened. He had never been to school before. Jimmy did not know what to expect, and he did not want to leave home by himself. Jimmy's mom told him not to be afraid as she walked him to the bus stop. She told him he would have new friends and have lots of fun. Jimmy was being brave as he got onto the school bus and sat down. He waved to his mom as the bus drove away. Okay, and so the question is, why was Jimmy afraid to go to school? Why was Jimmy afraid to go to school? And the numbers to call, and I'm hoping that we've already followed my tip of waking up early. The numbers to call, 469-1616, 469-1700. Okay, why was Jimmy afraid to go to school? 469-1616, 469-1700. So Jimmy had his first day. He was scheduled for his first day of kindergarten, but he was afraid to go to school. Why? Okay, and so if we get a caller for that, of course, caller, you will win a back to school prize. But we will continue with our tips. Our last tip was read about the first day of school, and our story, our Jimmy story, was a story that we read as we talked about reading about the first day of school. Our next tip is practice getting ready. Practice getting ready. And so once you have their school uniforms, it's important that they practice putting them on. For the kindergarten, you will have to help them to get some of those buttons pinned. But we have a caller. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Well, you are up bright and early. I'm very proud. Do you know why Jimmy was scared about going to school?
Because he never been to school before.
Yes. Jimmy was scared because he's never been to school before. What's your name?
Janaya Jones.
Okay, Janaya. Are you excited or scared about going back to school?
I'm excited.
You are? What grade are you going to be in?
Grade 1.
Ooh! Oh my goodness, you're getting up there, Janaya. And what is your favorite part of going to school?
Learning.
I didn't hear what you said, Janaya, sorry.
Learning.
Learning! Okay. Do you have a favorite subject?
Math.
Woo! So you're a numbers lady. Okay, go Janaya. Okay, congratulations. And I'm glad that you're excited about going to school. And we can't wait to have you back, okay? You can collect your prize at the Department of Education on Marion Heights.
Okay.
Okay, have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
All right, so Janaya just won that first prize, and she was able to tell us why Jimmy was scared about going back to school. And she was correct. He had never been to school before. And for some students, because preschool is not mandatory, for some students, going to preschool is going to be their first interaction with school. And so just like Jimmy, they turned 5 and now they have to go to preschool, to kindergarten. And so they might be a little bit scared, but just like Jimmy, it should be okay. It will be okay. You have loving, caring teachers, you have supportive parents, and so that would be very, very easy for you over time, and you'll just love it. It's going to become like your second home. And so what did Jimmy's mommy do to help him? Okay, what did Jimmy's mommy do to help him? Okay, if you know the answer to that question, you can give us a call, 469-1616, 469-1700. And of course, we try to give one prize a week to students. So if you are a student between preschool and grade 3, you can tell us, what did Jimmy's mommy do to help him? So Janaya helped us. She told us about Jimmy being scared. So what did Jimmy's mommy do to help him with that? Okay, 469-1616, 469-1700. Okay, so before we got the call from Janaya, we're talking about helping students to prepare to get ready, and this is important even for maybe our grade 1 students and our grade 2 students as well. Those uniform tops have a lot of buttons, and sometimes our students struggle with those, and so you might have to let them practice putting them on, taking them off, so that on the first day of school you don't get frustrated with your child because they're taking too long, or you don't have the time to help them button up. You want them to move around faster, so do some practice runs. And of course they would love seeing themselves in their uniform as well. Let them model around and get comfortable in that new uniform and new mind frame. And so we want to encourage you to do that. An important thing as well, parents, especially those of kindergartners, is to ensure that they are aware of how to be able to navigate their uniforms to get to the restroom. The boys, we always encourage you not to, in kindergarten or preschool, not to put belts on because it's difficult for them to take them off, and we have restroom accidents, and then we have to change out uniforms and change their clothes and that kind of thing. So we encourage you to ensure that they're able to get in and out of their uniforms, they're able to use the restrooms appropriately as needed. And so that's an important part of why we say that you should practice getting ready and practice being able to access the restrooms. Their teachers will tell them where to find the restrooms. I know in preschool they had a lot more support in going to the restrooms, but we want to minimize the number of accidents, restroom related accidents that they can have, because they could not get out of their, especially the boys, they couldn't get out of the pants, they couldn't get it unbuttoned. We always recommend that you purchase the pants that have the metal clip that hooks in and out. It's very easy. If the buttons, sometimes with their fingers, they find motor skills are not as developed, and sometimes it's hard for them to get the buttons open. And so for preschool and kindergarten, we tend to encourage you to purchase those pants for the boys that can easily be open with the hook as opposed to the button. All right, so we're going to take a short break on that tip, and then we'll be right back to wrap up the last segment of the show.
Sugar City Saint Kids, keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know, we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's you on the go. You on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, you on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather round. An adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Vaughn Radio's Facebook page and the YouTube channel. And welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am Zanella Claxton from the Department of Education, and we are here with you every Saturday to share information, opportunities, activities that will help to develop our students, empower our students, allow them to be able to access opportunities, and of course my favorite quizzes. And this Saturday is no different. We are on our journey back to school, and as we prepare for back to school, we are sharing information with parents as to what they can do leading up to September 6th, when we have the reopening of schools, the week of September 6th. We want to provide you with information so that you are in a place to be able to prepare your children, so when they get to school it's much easier for them. An important part of the preparation is role-playing self-care, and I think this ties in directly with use of the restroom, and we spoke a bit about that a few minutes ago, that they can take care of themselves. However, with this pandemic and generally, there are some other important skills that kindergartners need. They need to be able to wash their hands, understand how to wash their hands properly. So that's a very important skill that you can role play at home, teaching them how to wash their hands. If you're not sure, Health Promotion Unit has a video that shows you there's a child showing how to wash your hands, and so that's an important skill that they have to know. They have to know how to be able to put a mask on if they need to. There's some, of course, the regulations state that children under the age of 7 do not have to wear masks, but it does not say that you cannot choose as a parent to allow your child to wear a mask, and I want to make sure that we understand that. If you're more comfortable as a parent with your child, especially with the cases climbing, it is also your right to have the conversation with your teacher and with the child, and teach your child how to appropriately put the mask on and take it off. We also recommend all children at all levels, if they're taking a bus to and from school, we recommend that they wear a mask when they're on public transportation as well. And so those are some of the role-playing situations that you can do, and you can pick which one of the practices you want to share on a given day, right? So you can teach them how to wash their hands. Practice on several days and reinforce. So each time you add a new one, then you're able to
to practice more and more. And then, of course, they might have some sniffles, and we, of course, as part of the protocols, we ask parents to keep children home who are sick, who have fevers or who have flu-like symptoms, because we are not sure if those symptoms are aligned with the coronavirus, the COVID-19 virus. And so, but your children have to know how to appropriately cough, how to appropriately sneeze. Sneezing out into the atmosphere with all of the droplets going on everybody is not the best, especially in this time. It's not hygienic in any situation, but it's not hygienic in this particular time. And so teaching them, if they feel that they're going to sneeze into their elbow, or of course if they have a tissue, they can sneeze into a tissue. We encourage that you give them disposable tissues. I know in the past we would have wash rags for them to sneeze into, but if they keep doing that, it becomes not as hygienic. Okay, so practicing some of these very important health protocols is an integral part of the preparation for back to school. Remind your children not to shake people's hands. Remind them not to hug. Just go around randomly hugging everyone. They can hug your persons at home, and we can do ear hugs and those kinds of things at school, but we want to get them to the mindset that we have to be safe and we have to be cautious. Okay, I forgot one thing. When you teach them how to blow into a tissue, also teach them that they have to dispose of the tissue, because it doesn't make any sense to blow into the tissue and leave it on the table or drop it on the floor, but they have to know that they should take it to the nearest trash can or garbage bin so that they can dispose of it appropriately. Finally, we want you to teach your child how to ask the teacher for help. Well, it's penultimately, because there's one more after. How to ask your teacher for help. We don't want, what you see in kindergarten a lot is that because they don't know how to ask their teacher for help, and maybe we didn't prepare them for it at home, they might need assistance with something, whether it be going to the restroom, or they can't get something done that they're asked to do, and they sit there and they either cry or they spend the whole time not doing anything. And of course the teachers are navigating the room and they will catch on to it. But we want to empower children from a young age to be able to say, Miss whomever, or teacher, because they might not know the name right away, teacher, I need some help with, or may I have some help with. And so to give them those key lines that they can be able to ask for help. It's okay for children to ask for help. They're supposed to ask for help, and so if they need it, and so we just need to prepare them in terms of how they should go about asking for that support that they need. We shouldn't make it as though it is something negative, to be able to say, teacher, can you please help me with, or teacher, I need help with, or may I have help with. And so that's something that I want to encourage parents to do, and allow them to master some of the basic skills that they would need. Last week we spoke about some of the basic skills for preschool, and for preschool is just pretty much showing up. That's the basic skill, making sure that they're mentally and emotionally ready to be there. For primary school, if you can, maybe if they can use a safety scissors, have fun counting to 10, have fun maybe saying their ABCs or identifying letters, but teachers would work with students when they get there, but as you realize, I keep saying have fun doing this and have fun doing that, because it should not be a high pressure environment. So do not pressure them. I said it last week. You will know when to stop. You will know when it's something that is getting a negative connotation, and then we don't want to have a negative mindset around school and education. So please know when to stop and don't pressure them to the point of acting as though they're high schoolers in kindergarten. They're not, like I said last week, they're not writing CXC. Please do not sit at home with the school's reader and teach your children the reader, because you will be bragging about them reading when they have memorized the whole book and they can't recognize the words. Allow the teachers to go through and teach them the sight words, how to identify them, have them identify them in different settings, and then teaching them how to decode words as they go along. So please don't. I know I've known of children who can recite the whole reader before school starts, but if you show them any word from the reader in any other setting, they don't know it, and that is not the goal. So please make sure that we're guarding against that. And then our final tip: relax and let go. Relax and let go. And this one will be a tough one, but we are asking that you trust us, that you trust the system, that you trust your teachers. And when you've done all of these things, you've made sure that they're ready, that they have their uniforms, that their clothes are labeled, that every item in their backpack is labeled, their lunch bag is labeled, that their shoes are labeled. I label shoes for kindergarten children because they tend to lose their shoes some days. They shouldn't take them off, but some days they get mixed up, and so label everything. Once you've done all of that and you're now ready and you've now had them prepared, then relax and be content that you've made a good decision, that the teachers will take care of your children, and if you have any concerns, that you will share those concerns with both the teacher and, if needs be, with the principal, and let the children grow, let them be independent. I know that some of us are helicopters. I'm a helicopter by nature. I hover, and so I understand helicoptering, but at the same time, children need independence. They need to be able to feel empowered, and that they can literally take over the world, and that is the level of confidence that they're going to need to navigate the rest of their lives. So those are, as I said, a few tips for you parents who are getting ready for kindergarten. Register your children for school. Listen out for your scheduled school visit. Purchase or secure resources, uniforms, textbooks, and other resources. Sign up for the school meals program. Sign up for school banking. Get on routine and do a dry run of the school day. Decrease or phase out naps. Read about the first day of school. Practice getting ready. Role play for self-care. Practice asking the teacher for help. Do not pressure your children, and relax and let go. And before I close out, I should have at the top of the show, and I didn't, so I want to do it at the bottom of the show, the end of the show. Commend and congratulate all of our grade 6 students who graduated during this past graduation week. All of our public schools had a graduation ceremonies this week, and so we want to commend the students. Of course, the students were not able to get here on their own merits, and so we want to commend the school leaders, the principals, and other school management members. We want to commend the classroom teachers as well as the non-instructional staff. We want to commend the entire ancillary team for supporting the students on their journey. The parents, please continue to, as I said last week, please continue to support our students during this time as they go into secondary school. It gets very difficult for them. Transitioning is sometimes hard. Please have something in place for them. And then we want to commend the entire community for continuously providing your support in various ways. All of the donors who gave prizes to the students during graduation, we want to thank you. I know each school thanked you, and we want to thank you as well for your constant contribution and commitment to the development of our students, and by extension the development of our nation. We look forward to talking to you next week as you continue to prepare for back to school, because we are on the countdown. Have a wonderful week. Boop.
With all the power from the tower,